West Springfield, East Longmeadow, Agawam, Feeding Hills, Springfield, Southwick, as well as Enfield and Granby, Connecticut, visit us on the web at westfieldbank.org. Underwriting for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield, serving the youth of the Whip City and surrounding communities since 1969. For more information on the Great Futures Club for ages 3 to 5, happening weekdays, and the Club Teen Center for ages 11 and older, weekdays from 6:30 till 8 p.m., go online at bcgwestfield.org or visit the club at 28 West Silver Street. The Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield. Great futures start here.
Listen to me, Michael Buster McMahon, Mondays 8 to 10 a.m. to learn the stories behind your favorite songs. Or don't. I'm not the boss of you.
Community Radio
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 at 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
809.5.
You know, the rapidly rising in with I don't know.
And Robert Plath didn't even have his headphones on so he could hear number 46.
Oh.
What a bummer.
Oh, my God. He's starting right.
You started talking about how you were going to celebrate New Year's.
Yes.
So, you know, we're just making up for that, Bob.
So
Come
we had
on,
George,
man.
So we had George Biden, George Biden.
Come on, man.
Joe Biden opening a bottle of champagne. Is that what it was?
Anyway.
Today is the 29th day of December.
Oh, I love it.
In the year,
It's going to be a long term, 4 years.
he's not going to get a day of rest, just like 45.
Yeah.
Every day, it's going to be peck, 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 peck.
Peck.
Jeez, it seems like somebody told us how to do that. Gave us a course for it.
Oh, stop it.
We were educated in the last 4 years.
Oh, can't
Yeah.
wait. Kathy?
All we have to do is mimic.
Whoops, hold on.
Yeah. She's being quiet there.
She actually is being quiet because I didn't turn her up.
Because the pot isn't on.
Oh, there we are.
Try it now.
Nope.
The microphone's not on. There's a switch on the microphone.
There you go.
Yeah.
Why is that switched off?
I
don't
have
know.
no idea. I don't touch it.
You have no idea?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Who was in here?
And my camera's not on either. I'm on a different camera.
No, it's on. I just switched you over to something
There
different.
you go.
Oh, you look really pretty
So you
there.
can see my big nose more.
I wanted
Okay.
a profile shot.
Okay.
I can change
There's a
it.
lot of glare on that.
Yeah, there is.
I can change it back.
There you go.
The iris is a little
I don't have a lot of control
A little
over the
closed
iris.
on
Well, maybe like Doris Day, I have to be filmed through a gauze curtain, so I look,
Oh, stop.
so.
You look fine.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I was telling Ken, Bob, that I have to spray my roots because I haven't been to the hairdresser. So there's a big patch of white here, and I was afraid to spray it because it's going to drip down my face.
there's a whole bunch of white there.
Yeah, there is.
Did you just say there's
Like
a whole
Rudy?
bunch? Did you just say there's a whole bunch of white there?
Are you offended?
Got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Oh, my aching. Holy.
All right,
God
enough.
help-
Enough, children. Enough.
All right.
You know what, Pete?
Oh, God, help us.
What's going on, Ken?
Television the past few days was horrible.
Really?
Yeah, well,
Nothing new.
Yeah. No.
Movies I've seen over and over. Horrible holiday-themed marathons.
God bless Hallmark.
My DVR was cleaned out by Saturday afternoon. This is just another thing I hate about this time of year. And there wasn't much going on with social media either. It was somewhat quiet. I have no idea what everyone else could have been doing.
Oh, my God.
Social media picked up a little bit the past day or so, which we may talk about, Kathy, about 8:45.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I just figured out what I'm going to do at 8:45.
Oh, no. It's not going to be good.
And now we have this stretch until New Year's Day.
Yeah.
I know we all want this abysmal 2020 to end,
Yes.
but I don't see the first half of 2021 being much different.
Nope. Nope.
Seeing I had time in between naps and channel surfing, I figured I would go over what myself, my community programming show, and community programming as a whole handled the pandemic. For myself, it started at the last of my 40-something birthdays on St. Patrick's Day. That was the week we were told to shut down our shops and go home and stay there. At that point in time, the toilet paper and all the cleaning products disappeared from all the shelves.
Yep.
Isn't that the truth?
Yep. For
We all-
no reason.
We all thought we would be back in 3 weeks.
Yes, we did.
3 weeks in, I got the call from the shop owner. We were never going to reopen.
Oops.
After 24 years of employment, that was how I was let go.
Oops.
Wow.
It was determined that we'd still be in the red even after a year once we reopened. And that was if we reopened within a month or two. The government loans that came out a few weeks later would not have been able to save the business. Another month or so went by, and I started to realize I was unemployable.
Oh, no.
And I mentioned several different reasons here, but another reason why I'm unemployable is I have a specific personality that does not allow me to and gives me a hard time when it comes to working with other people.
Oops.
Oh.
Yeah. But I'm far too experienced for people to take on and fear that I would only be a short while until something better comes along. I've been told that.
Okay.
Unemployable in my trade in the area due to the fact that there was simply nothing locally available.
Mm-hmm.
Unemployable in that at age 50, I'm no longer able to be the grunt on the construction site in hopes of moving up. So I started a business in the middle of a pandemic as my Hail Mary pass. The holiday season was good, and I hope that I get just a third of the business I had in December, and I should be able to squeak by.
Great.
And then there's my morning program on WCPC and WSKB. At the beginning of the pandemic, I had Joe Rouse on constantly, and the mayor was making weekly calls in to keep us up to date. I felt it was important to use that platform to get information out to folks who may not get the paper or take part in social media. And then community programming in general. Many of the other personalities introduced COVID-related coverage into their programs. We covered all the veteran services so that folks could still be a part of the ceremonies without having to worry about social distancing. Between JPEG, Luca, Pete Coles, and myself, we produced Studio 120 Sessions, a program that allowed musicians to perform in a space safe for their fans to enjoy. And this was way more than just setting up a camera phone in the corner of your basement. In fact, the second half of that series is about to be finalized and put out.
Great.
It started on Christmas night.
Wonderful.
We partnered with the Senior Center to produce programming to replace what would normally take place at the center on an ongoing basis. We partnered with Westfield on weekends to provide holiday programming for their Decemberfest. We partnered with the Westfield Taxpayer Association to broadcast some election forums. Community programming has done a lot this past year. But I would be remiss if I did not mention the work of Pete Coles, who busted his ass to ensure that all of the municipal meetings went out on Channel 15. Sometimes putting in the hours of 2 full-time employees, he oversaw the daytime operations of community programming and the evening city meetings. And he did so whether he was at the studio, at home, or nearby a NASA facility.
It's true.
Which, by the way, he did so expertly that you would have no idea where he was when he was getting all these meetings broadcasted.
Or even off a car battery.
Oops.
Yes, that was a
That
thing.
too.
That
was a true thing.
Municipal meeting actually was powered 2 ways that night.
It was a park and rec meeting, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I see the magic and the juju involved in how Pete makes all this happen. Let's just say there's a lot more than just pushing a few buttons that takes place. And for my buddy Pete, right now I see no end of that in the near future. Thanks, Pete, for all your hard work this past year at community programming and WCPC 15.
Wow.
You thought I was going to go into a whole different direction.
Thank you, Ken.
That's the kindest, nicest thing. And
Shut up, Bob.
I was just going to say, congratulations, Pete, for all your work. And you had a great buddy.
I have a great supporting cast.
Yes. And your great supporting cast begins right here at this table with Ken Stomsky. Right there.
Anyway.
Right?
Let's pay our bills. We'll be back right after this.
Американская фирма Transceptor Technology приступила к производству компьютеров «Персональный спутник».
Don't need the police to try to save them. Your voice will sing. So please stay off my back, or frontal attack, and you don't want that.
Support for community radio on WSKB is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. On the web at bettsplumbing.com or at 14 Coleman Avenue in Westfield.
Hi, it's Bob Plass, and I have Wow, It's Tuesday, every Tuesday, 6 to 8. Wow, it's Tuesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
I did it!
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 at 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
The three of us are having a brain fart here at Studio 120 right now.
Why is that?
You're so vain.
You probably think this song is about...
That was written about who?
Well, they claim it was written about her lover at the time, but...
Yeah,
But who was it?
Yeah, who was it?
Do you
Yeah,
know?
I thought it was Davy Jones of the Monkees.
No.
Well, we could quickly find out.
Well, Pete's looking it up right now.
Oh,
He will
so
get
he's
it.
looking. I don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, because he knows I'm not going to go forward until we have the answer to this.
This could take some time.
No, it should come up rather quickly.
In fact, some people probably don't even know what song we're talking about.
You're so
We're aging ourselves here, folks.
The cream in my coffee. What's that? There's a line about cream in my coffee. Isn't it?
Simon stated it's about three men.
Yeah.
And only one she's named publicly, and that one public is Warren Beatty.
That's it. That's why I always confused him with George Hamilton. Yes, Warren Beatty.
There you go.
Warren Beatty. You probably think this song is about you, don't you? I had clouds in my coffee, clouds in my coffee. Is that the same song?
Although George Hamilton, it could be explained by he thinks he's very vain too. So
He is.
Well, he's around the same circuit, so
I used to confuse the two all the time. I still do.
Does George hang out with 45?
Not that I know.
I think they use the same skin dye.
I know, really. I think that Trump's complexion is like he must be really pale. I mean, like almost close to.
Do you think he does all that crap just to get people like you going?
I don't know.
Think about it.
Well, yeah, I think he's got he is a brilliant marketer.
You're so vain.
And only a negative marketer. Yeah. I hate to give him credit for anything, but he is a brilliant. He knows how to get people going.
Good. When we get rid of you, we'll fire you then.
Oh, knock.
I used to have that sound clip.
You're oh yeah.
You're fired.
Oh yeah. Oh.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
What we are doing.
One never knows here. Good question.
I love that voice.
We're gonna be doing something here.
Yeah.
Something.
Oh. Oh my God. It's Tuesday.
And now it's time.
Oh, for God's sakes, I'm in the shower. Bob, you're going to have to get that. I know it's going to be Ken again.
Oh, my God.
He just never stops. Will you
Kathy,
get the door?
This is the last time.
I'm in the shower, Ken.
Ken. Oh, come on. Get in here. Oh, hi. Oh, hello.
Hello.
Okay. Hi, Ken.
Hi.
How are you?
I came here to tell you that this is the den, Ken's den, and behind the glass is Kathy Palmer.
Underglass. Kathleen Underglass.
And then in the control studio,
Yeah.
Kitten of the Keys,
Oh, yeah.
Chairman
Who am
Meow,
I?
the December dork of the dial.
Yeah.
And you,
Yes.
my
therapist.
you are my therapist who I just came to visit.
Oh, there's
I did that in reverse order.
Oh, my.
But you see, I got back to it.
Well, my receptionist, Kathleen, have you gotten out of the shower yet?
Wait, I can't find the towels.
Oh boy!
I'm telling you, this is the last time I do. I want to go. I do one of those things from the jail where I've gotten. She was in jail prior to this, and so she was looking for work, and I've hired her. Yeah, it's one of those prison work programs.
You better go get your receptionist out of the shower, man.
I'm not going anywhere near there. For God's sakes, do you know who you're talking to? Oh, are you all dried off? Come on in.
We're a little off the rails
something.
here.
Put on something.
Yeah, Bob, what do you want? What do you want?
No, I don't want. What do I
dried
really want?
What do you really
got my robe.
want?
Really?
What do you
I really want. Kenny, what can I do for you this week?
I've got to start getting more sleep at night. Jesus.
You're having trouble sleeping.
Oh, that's not why I came here. I actually I didn't go to sleep until about 2:30.
Oh, okay. I got 2 more hours than I usually do. I've got 7 hours on you. Yeah.
So the prostate didn't get you up 5 times?
No, I managed to get to the bathroom with a sleep, with an instant.
Well,
I was like sleepwalking.
Is it the prostate or is it just simply the bladder?
What happens with seniors is everything goes toward the floors.
Gravity.
It pushes everything out. It's a wonder that I'm not peeing my brains out.
Mm-hmm. Or just leaking while you walk across the room.
Oh, that happens.
Do you get the walking farts at home now and then?
Oh, stop.
When you're walking across the room?
No.
Somebody I know does, and my brother deals with the consequences every
Oh,
day.
my God. Holy God. No.
I think you're lying. I think you're trying to save face. I think at least once or twice a week you probably walk past Frankie and James.
Blame it on the dog.
Yeah. And then, Frankie, quit that. Stop that.
I've done that.
We've got to change your diet.
Oh.
How many times have you blamed it on the dog, Bob? What the hell? Frankie!
Yeah, I know. You've done that in church. When something like that happens in church, and you look at the person next to you,
trying to pass the blame.
Right? Yeah. And everybody is doing that. Everybody is doing that. But the person who did it isn't doing it. That's how Hercule Poirot could discover who did that.
Yeah, you know what happens when you fart in church, right, Bob?
An angel gets its wings?
No. No. He who farts in church sits in own pew.
Oh, God. Boom. Yes, dad joke.
Save me, please.
What can I do for you, Ken? Do you have a problem today? Or you're just here
Besides the usual?
I'm just here to rile you up.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Actually,
What? How are you spending New Year's Eve?
Here.
Oh, that's right. So you're going to be good, fabulous. You're going to have a little hooch on New Year's Eve, you two?
Can't say.
Oh, you
cannot confirm nor deny anything.
Oh, all right, okay.
Much like the 1981 episode of WKRP where Venus Flytrap and Johnny Fever attempt to get drunk on air. They could only do that because a police officer was there monitoring them.
Oh, I see.
And you still that nothing has changed. You still really can't drink on a live broadcast.
Is there an FCC rule on that? I love that. Oh,
I got them all, baby.
Oh, man.
Oh, Lord.
So,
That's
yeah, it
great.
does come down to an FCC thing.
It does. I don't really think that that's a rule of.
controlled by electronic computers.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't be in front of a camera and
Of
drink
course
alcohol
you-
live.
Wait a minute, you can too. Oh no, you can't. No. I was saying this commercially.
It wasn't live. We did it on tape.
Yeah. No, but you're not allowed. Well, you're not allowed to show people on commercials drinking alcohol. So now there are commercials for Royal Crown and all this other thing, or what's in the Crown Royal. You'll notice that they don't put it to their lips because the FCC has a rule that says if you're doing alcohol commercials or beer commercials, there is no drinking. You can show it, but you can't drink it. But I don't think that applies. For instance, on what's the name of that show with Andy Cohen? Watch What Happens Live. They drink all the time.
That's cable.
But it's not live.
We're cable then.
That's cable television.
Same thing with Drunk History.
Oh, wait a
Same
minute. We
tape.
are cable now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So long as we're not simulcast at the same time with the university, then we're cable.
That's right.
Yeah, maybe we'll just be a cable show this year.
Yeah. There you are.
You'll have no idea whether this is club soda or vodka in here.
Oh, maybe we do.
Oh my gosh, help me.
Hmm.
Oh, God.
I saw you over in that cabinet.
You remember that WKRP episode? Anyone? Bueller?
I never watched
Bueller?
that show. No, it was
I did, but I don't remember
As
that.
Venus Flytrap kept drinking, he got really trashed. And as Johnny Carabella, also known as Johnny Midnight and also known as Johnny Fever, played by Howard Hessman,
Oh, I
That
remember
was
Howard
such a
Hessman.
good character.
his performance kept improving as he kept drinking.
Oh, no. Really? Did they ever
Which
do...
now and then explains me. Which
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the
It
Vita...
does.
Oh, remember that Vitameat of Vegemin thing
Yes.
with Lucy?
Yes.
Where she's...
Yes, but yeah.
The alcohol, she's doing a commercial?
But do you ever watch the show Drunk History?
Never.
Yes, with Mike Rowe.
And no, it's not Micro.
He did a version of it too.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yes.
I always wonder. I was just watching the one with and it's gone right out of my head. But anyway, I wonder if they're really drunk.
I tried so hard to get into that program.
I thought it was about drinking here. You mean the people that are...
They have personalities. They have well-known personalities on it. They just had Lin-Manuel Miranda on it, and he was actually giving the history of Hamilton. And they drink, and then they try to tell the story after they're drunk. But I question whether they really are drunk. And there's reenactments. It's kind of a comedy history sort of show.
Really? Oh, I
is
thought
it
it
on
was
the
just-
History Channel? What channel is it
I
on,
thought
Peter?
it was a documentary on
No,
like
no.
alcohol.
I don't know. They
No,
removed
no,
the
no,
History
no.
Channel from my YouTube TV.
Oh, speaking of quirky shows, Laugh or Die. What was the Craig Ferguson one?
Oh God, I don't know. I haven't
History
watched
or
Ferguson in
Die
years.
or something
No,
like that.
I think it's Laugh or Die.
So he has a new game show coming out this week.
Oh, he does.
Starting off at 10 o'clock, Hustler. And I haven't seen it yet because it's brand new.
Oh.
Episode 1 hasn't aired yet.
Oh, I can't wait.
And
Yeah.
next week,
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Name That Tune comes out.
Really?
No.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
And
That's what, Kathy.
I'm
Lee
going to tune
started-
into the first episode.
Yeah.
And if it's only crap that's been out the last 10 years,
Yeah.
that'll be the only episode I'll watch.
Yeah. Are you going to be?
I couldn't name an artist or a song that
No.
came out the last 10
No,
years.
me either. That's why I didn't watch Masked Singer.
Masked
Really, I have no idea who these people are who's singing.
I can't watch any
I
of
mean,
them.
I know Leanne Rimes was one of them this year, but even
That
then,
show got old after season 1.
Oh,
Yeah, I
one
agree,
episode-
Peter.
When they
You're right.
when they kept putting Gronkowski through, who absolutely sucked, I was like, "That's it, I'm done."
Yeah. You know, it's interesting, Bob. We show our age because I've gotten to the point now, and I don't think Ken is there yet, but with all the late night shows, half the people on them, I have no clue who they are.
I stopped watching them because they're not funny anymore.
Well,
Yeah.
There's that.
yeah. You know, I find
I
that
still like
when
Seth
I'm,
Meyers.
I'm watching, Regis and Kathy Lee in the morning, and they have, they say, oh, so and so and so and so
Yeah.
every day, and I'm going, I
Who?
don't know,
Yeah, who?
who are these people that get, you know?
Unless they're on Broadway, we don't know them, Ken. Excuse me, Bob.
Yes.
Bob, I think Ken's running over his time for counseling. Are you going to charge him more?
Thank you.
He's run way
Thank
over
you,
his.
my
Shucks! I never did get to tell him what's bothering me.
Well, you know, when I have to stop because I have to run home in order to use a facility, right?
I'll get out of the shower, Bob.
All right. Oh, has she gotten out of the shower yet?
I've been out of the shower for 10
Telling you.
minutes. I'm dried off and
The
dressed.
last time I hire from the prison, honest to God, Kath, I'm calling your parole officer immediately. I'm calling.
I'm wearing the bracelet. What more do you want?
What was she in for? Kath, what were you in for anyway?
Petty theft.
This is how I'm going to play Bob off every week now.
Oh, my God. Yes. What is it? What is it? Oh, I love it. All right. So, look, everybody. Oh, I love it. Well, look at. Thank you, guys. Ken, would you mind leaving the receptionist your money? I know we didn't get to what your problem was, but we talked through your time with me. That'll be $50. Thank you. And Happy New Year, incidentally. Happy New Year to everyone. Kathleen, Happy New Year to you and
Robert, you too.
your parole officer. Keep your hands to yourself. You know, and watch Peter. I make sure that you check everything in the studio after Kathleen leaves this morning. I see a glint in her eye. She's got a glint. Bye.
What are you talking about?
Happy New Year, my friend Kenny Stomsky and Peter Coles. See ya. Bye.
I'm good with that.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Dental. Comprehensive dentistry at 14 convenient locations in Springfield, Chicopee, Longmeadow, West Springfield, Belchertown, East Longmeadow, Ludlow, Northampton, Greenfield, and Wilbraham, as well as 29 Broad Street in Westfield. Bay State Dental makes it a priority to help you achieve and maintain the healthy smile you deserve. On the web at baystatedental.com.
Join us the third Wednesday of every month with Selectman Joe Didi and his take on everything Southwick.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, another car ride, another opportunity to practice my DJ ramp-ups. Just gotta navigate iTunes while merging onto the freeway. All right, 2 Princes. Here we go. 95.5 WPET, you got Peter the Riff Griff shocking you and rocking you while I'm sitting here talking to you. It's 75 and sunny, which means our street squad's going to be out looking for them super stickers. If you don't got one, get down to Linoleum Depot this Saturday. From 9 to 2, I'll be there hooking you up. Slap one on your car, win $100. Now I'm looking around and I'm seeing the Spin Doctors with not 1, but 2 Princes. Nailed it.
Okay.
Pete and I try to play that game every year when we do our New Year's Eve countdown.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. You know, okay, you post it. No, you post it. And we try our best to post a song like an old time radio disc jockey like that. And most of the time we're successful. It might be easier this year because the music is from 1980, and I think I know every single song on the top 50.
You know, I was looking at the old the big thing from 1990, and believe it or not, the songs were not that bad.
We've already announced 80.
I know.
He's anti-90.
I may have to do another countdown on Monday.
Have it your way.
Maybe, I don't know. Depends on if I wake up or not.
Ooh, okay. Good luck with that. So you're doing 80s for New Year's, correct?
1980.
What time are you starting?
5:21. Because I promised Tina that I would run Corey and the Knightsmen as a replay on that day. So we're gonna pop in right after them.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good.
Yeah.
And you go till what time?
Midnight.
Midnight on the nose.
Midnight.
We're gonna do our best to finish by midnight. I think we're gonna do the top 75.
You know, I think this lack of sleep is something.
Nah, because in 6.5 hours we can get 75 in. 6.5 hours we can get 75. Shut it.
Good morning, Ken. Are you out of the shower?
And there's some really good stuff in the bottom 25 too. Pat Benatar.
Okay.
Neil Diamond.
Okay.
Fleetwood Mac. Oh, there's a good song. Fleetwood Mac.
I love
I don't know.
Fleetwood Mac.
We might have to go the whole 100. I have to cram it all in.
There you go.
We'll be going late. We can invite our guest because I didn't send him an email. So
Yes. Yes, you did.
I know that
he was here for the first.
I know the hosts got an invite, but I'm going to be inviting a few other folks, like we used to have, stop in for a bit.
Yeah.
What is the punishment for not wearing a mask in public? And when I say in public, not at the parking lot at Big Y, not in your front yard, on city-owned property, on a sidewalk. What is the punishment for not wearing one?
Is there a fine? Do you get a fine? Is that it?
Yes, there's a fine of $300.
Ooh.
Seriously?
That's healthy.
Yes.
Is that an overreach?
And our own chief has said he's not going to drive around looking for people doing this.
Correct.
Now, obviously, if they get a call, they have to go out on it. But they don't. He said right at the beginning, we don't have the people to go around being mask Nazis.
Right.
Right.
Right. I think that's the general idea of law enforcement.
So in social media land yesterday, and the post garnered over 350 comments.
Really?
Yeah. Supposedly, a person was walking downtown, and they didn't have a mask on because they're just not going to wear one. I'm not going to wear it. And supposedly a cruiser pulled over and said, "Put your mask on or I'm going to arrest you."
I don't think they can do that. It's not an arrestable offense. It's a finable.
It's not an arrestable offense.
Interesting.
And do you even see them pulling over and saying, "If you don't put your mask on, I'm going to fine you $300"?
No. I no.
Yeah, I don't either. To tell you the truth.
So nothing was on camera. Nothing was on video. Obviously, there are ways of knowing what officer that might have been. So I actually put a question out. What time did it happen? All right. All these vehicles, they have GPS. They've been traced. They can go to a minute and know exactly where a particular vehicle was.
Correct. Absolutely. They all have their computers on all the time.
So give us a time that happened, and it could be within a couple of minutes even.
Oh, well.
And we will know what cruiser was in that area.
Oh, well,
they wouldn't give me the time.
Oh, well, no, I don't remember. I'm not sure.
Because it was probably bogus.
I don't really know what time it was. I just know it really happened.
So, of course, now, I'm poor. I only have an Android, and the battery doesn't last forever, so I couldn't take a video. Yeah.
I find that bogus, but...
I forgot my phone. I left my phone at home.
Completely detailed, pulled over. They told me they would arrest me if I didn't put my mask on. But they couldn't tell me what time it was. Because that would take care of it once and for all.
Yep, correct. That would validate it.
Westfield cruisers have dash cams too, right, Pete?
No.
Not the dash cam?
I don't believe they do.
I don't know.
Okay. It still wouldn't have mattered. We still would have known who it was. I'd love to get to the bottom of this.
I don't know that you can if they're not going to answer your question.
No.
It sounds to me like somebody wanted to tell a great story and get some reactions.
Somebody looking for attention.
Somebody wanted a narrative.
Yeah, and what have people chimed in with? Do they believe this story?
There are some people that believe that the Westfield Popo are horrible, miserable people, and they're crooks, and they're liars and thieves, and they wouldn't put it past them.
I
obviously
honestly,
they don't know him like I've known him for the past 20
and I do
years.
too. But I can't imagine knowing, and I know quite a few of them. They're driving down the street. They are not going to put the brakes on, pull over, jump out of their car, and start threatening somebody over a mask.
They may say, "Could you please put on the mask?" And that'd probably be the extent of it. Now, with everybody's feelings and perceptions of stuff, maybe that became, "We're going to lock you up." Maybe they just said, "Hey, could you put on the mask? It just looks bad." That probably was the extent of the encounter. But today's thing. Now everybody has to do their own thing. Blah 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 blah.
There's likely some embellishments going on here.
You think?
Or some liberties with telling the story.
I agree.
There are a lot of people calling BS on it. Obviously, for the reasons that we mentioned it here.
It's interesting. It's very interesting. People love to tell these stories, and it's an attention-getting mechanism. I think it's very true. Social media in general, people take a little tiny thing that happened, like somebody walked by them and they think got too close to them, so all of a sudden you've got to go online and you've got to complain about it. We've become very needy, and social media has done that. It's made us very needy. Tell me the things you like about me. Seriously? That's a little over the needy top, but it's happening all the time.
And what about the posts that are like, "Oh my God, I just can't. This is turning out to be the worst day ever."
Yes, and what happened?
That's it.
Yeah, what happened? Oh, I can't tell you. Well, then don't put it up there.
Whiskey Tango Foxtrot.
Yeah, I agree. I agree totally. It's hilarious. It's really kind of fun.
Hi, I'm looking for attention. Somebody pay attention to me.
I'm so honored to be. Oh, really? Okay, so you want us to all say congratulations. Good to hear it. It's funny.
Here's your
It's really
participation trophy.
Yeah, you get a sticker. You get a smiley face sticker.
A gold star, perhaps?
Yeah, but I do love social media, so I'm not picking it. I love social media. I love it, love it, love it.
I think so many of us are more wise to the embellishments and the potential untruths out there.
Well, it's true, Pat. I don't know if you saw Patrick's post again yesterday.
Yep.
Please substantiate your things before you pass them on. And I don't care what side you're on, politically, emotionally, mentally, but please. I had somebody put something up yesterday on my website, and I won't repeat it online. I'll tell you about it later. I went, what? It didn't even make sense. It was a political statement.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, do you walk to work or carry a lunch? The what? What? Didn't even jive.
There's this one meme out there I love. It's so simple for things that twist it around. Headline: President Trump hits 2 eagles at golf course Saturday. CNN reporting: Trump kills 2 eagles.
I knew where that was going. That's hilarious. 2 birdies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they do, and they run with it. It's just funny. It's just funny.
So.
But I do love it. I was going through old videotapes yesterday.
It's a good time killer. All right.
Yeah, it is.
And when I'm, in between projects, I can sit there and, I get a chuckle out of it more than anything else. I might reply as if I'm riled up.
I might. I've never noticed.
I might reply as if I take offense. But I'm just doing it out of enjoyment. Yeah. And maybe just to get a reaction out of the other side. Because most of the crap that I comment on or do on social media, I really don't care.
Your comments are
I could care less.
No. They stir the other side, which is a good thing in a way. It's a good thing. If I said, it's a stormy day, you might say, well, yeah, but I saw the sun at 10 o'clock this morning. And that's only an example, which makes no sense to some people.
It would be the other way around with me.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Well, I see a storm cloud coming in.
I can't resist. Sometimes when people say, I can't resist saying, yeah, but. I just can't, no matter what side it is. And I try not to, but I have to sometimes. Yeah. I just have to. With you, no, I don't bother.
Yeah.
I know what it's doing.
Whether or not, an officer pulled over and said, I'm going to arrest you if you don't put a mask on. I don't care if that happened or not, really.
No, but why make it up?
Why just let that post fly by without doing something to it, right?
Yeah.
I see Peter talking to our next guest in the
he probably is.
And I'm wondering if he's going to be ready to snap to my top of the hour. I'm getting.
It is time.
I couldn't tell if that was a thumb or a finger, but I'm gonna. I got both a thumb and a finger on that one, Kathy.
Oh dear! And before I go off, I have to say hello to a friend of mine, Maureen, and that's all I'm going to say.
All right, and you just blew it for my 901.5.
Oh wait, well then we have to wait. All right, you're almost there. Almost there.
901 3/4.
Okay.
Let's pair of bills.
Burn down the store.
until you drop. Voodoo consumer, never stop. Load up on supplies, no sale, no compromise. Gun crazy down the mall, voodoo consumer, take it all. Eat this, drink this, try this, charge it, it's fabulous. Step right up and take it, it's fabulous. If you can't afford it, fake it. Be deviously dangerous, ridiculously cool. Let's make it fabulous. 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 Drive me to the bank, kneel down and give me thanks. Grab your credit card, voodoo consumer, kiss me hard. Eat this, drink this, try this, charge it, it's fabulous. Step right up and take it, it's fabulous. If you can't afford it, fake it. Be deviously dangerous, ridiculously cool. Let's make it fabulous. Too late, voodoo consumer terminate. Eat this, drink this, try this, buy this, wear this, fly this, play this, charge it, it's fabulous. Step right up and take it, it's fabulous. If you can't afford it, fake it. Be deviously dangerous, ridiculously marvelous, meticulously treacherous, disarduously cruel. Just make it fabulous. 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 Fabulous.
Underwriting is brought to you by Boise Cascade Distribution, providing products and services needed for building material dealers, home improvement centers, and industrial customers. They offer everything from engineered wood and plywood to Drex decking and railing, James Hardie siding, and Advantech subfloor. Located at 33 Fowler Street Extension in Westfield and on the web at bc.com. They are committed to providing quality products, great service, convenience, and value.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
Hi, it's Bob Plass, and I have Wow, It's Tuesday every Tuesday, 6 to 8. Wow, it's Tuesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
I did it!
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
.906 3/4 here on this 29th day of December in the year 2020 Anno Domini. This is the Den, Ken's Den.
Not anymore.
Well, let's make it official then.
You're locked on
89.5 WSKB.
The Dan Knappich Show.
Community radio.
Ouch.
We do save those things.
Back in time.
I've got the other two mix downs too.
Nice.
Yeah. In his house, Dan Knappich.
Wow, no, this is your house. I'm just visiting today.
I said his house.
Oh, his house.
Yeah.
Your house or his house?
Yeah, for shizzle.
Oh,
yeah.
All right, yeah. Well, you know, I was talking to Pete about Pete the other day. Somebody tried to ask me, you know, how would you explain what he does there? I said, well, when he's on the radio, he's kind of like the Robin Quivers of the Howard Stern Show.
No.
Technically,
Technically, Kathy Palmer's the Robin Quivers.
They've made me
because
Robin.
she's behind that glass.
Well, she's got glass and Pete's got glass.
Baba Booey.
We're both glassed in, Peter.
Peter doesn't have teats.
It looks great. You guys done a nice job. And I got to ask you, is that the chair where 'Twas the Night Before Christmas was read right there?
Actually, that's where Santa sat on our Christmas Eve show. But that chair was actually over here for the night before Christmas, and we used
This chair?
Yeah, that chair.
Yeah.
The background was incredible. It looked like it was a real room.
Well, yeah, because it was shot up against this chroma wall behind you.
Yeah. You guys have done a great job.
Yeah. This is the first time you've been in here with a chroma wall, too.
Yeah, it's been. Oh, yeah, right. It
About
was
the whole
it was
thing?
just under construction when I was last on the show.
Yeah, because I was still in the studio then. I was on the card table.
Are you still able to inject camera 5 over the chroma?
Yeah.
Okay, watch this, Dan.
What?
A rocket launch?
We're not.
No, I got to go to the long shot for that.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know what I got in the background.
I can't tell. Can't.
Let's make it a...
It's a foggy day over Springfield. Is that what that is?
The lens must be fogged up.
No, it's the backdrop. Let's try that one.
Okay, there we go.
Hey, there you go.
All right, so live from Bullens Field.
Nice.
Or live from the parking lot.
Well, I was just...
here's the parking lot.
No, that's awesome. Yeah. I was just
We might as well go to Cross Street, too.
I don't have that one called up.
Oh, okay.
So, do you have a camera out there?
Yeah.
Oh, at the field you do, right.
Yeah.
At Cross Street, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just talking to Pete. We both, right, Pete? We can say that we were elected to the board there for Babe Ruth.
Yep. This would be my God knows how many year.
Yeah.
So we've come a long way here.
You have. You know, I kind of like, it's like a proud father, if you will. I've birthed this show, if you may.
Oh, okay. And let's.
We've also graduated a radio pro now. Radio and TV pro, yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. I know it. Actually, he texted me last night, as a matter of fact. Yeah, he's done great things over there.
Yeah,
You know?
he's enjoying it, actually.
Yeah, I bet he is. It's perfectly suited for his personality.
Yeah, you know, we started off. We all started radio because radio face, right?
Yeah.
You know, we shouldn't be in front of a camera. And then within a few weeks, he has a camera going nonstop.
That was when I still had atomicradio.us.
And now we're primarily a video-based broadcast now.
Yeah, no, I think it's incredible what's gone on, and I think it all started in 2014, right?
Yeah. Now, so Dan Knappich says he gave birth to this.
It's true, he did.
Let's talk about what you did here. All right.
Well, I didn't do a lot of preparation, I can tell you that.
Yes, Tina Gorman can attest to that.
That's why I asked Tina to be a partner on the show initially, because I knew she was meticulous in her pre-show preparations.
It was a summertime experiment, wasn't it?
Correct, it was.
Yeah.
It was June-ish, I believe, in 2014.
It was, yeah. Beginning of June.
And I believe the first producer was Jake Leon from Westfield State. He was a student at the time.
Yep, he was the head of the radio club.
Right. And it was just a matter of, like, we had just done some upgrades to the antenna at the station, and they had a little bit more wattage to play with, and they approached us about, doing a little bit of programming. We didn't know what it would be, but we knew, like, over the summer, the students weren't going to obviously be doing anything over the airwaves, and we said, why not? So it started with a few volunteers. And I remember actually talking to Pat early on about, I went to see him with a couple. I think Mo Sullivan was there, and Mike Knappich was there. And we talked to him about doing that Thursday news show. And I remember him saying, he's like, 4 hours? No, I can't do that for 4 hours. And before you know it, he became
originally he
phenomenal.
thought you were talking to him about doing a sponsorship, maybe partnering with him to
the
run
sponsor
schedules,
show, right.
schedule
Yeah,
things and
yeah.
things like that. And you went, no, you're not getting you're not getting what we're selling.
Yeah. So, and he ended up, I think, the idea, Pete, I got to give you a lot of credit for lugging all your stuff over to the press room every Thursday. But after the press room closed, so many people that I ran into, apparently not enough to keep the doors open, but had mentioned how much they enjoyed having the show be part of it and enjoyed the press room. And Pat did a great thing over there, and I was glad to see that when he closed it and then sold the paper, that he parlayed that into a really, like Kenny just said, a professional TV gig. So that's awesome. You know.
He said
I want to call it. I want to call it luck, but let's face it, he is better looking than all of us.
Well, he's thinner. He's got a body for TV too. You know?
He told me that he would have never
He have to do yoga once a week on that show.
He told me that he would have never even thought about even applying for a job like that had he not done the radio show for years.
Right? Yeah. And you know, over the years, he put together an incredible string of guests that was just phenomenal. That it was incredibly enjoyable to listen to, and on a lot of different topics. You know, so it was good. And then the Christmas, I think it was like the New Year's or Christmas Eve show, right? You know, everybody'd come into the station there.
We did that this year with Bobby G and Company. We just did it virtually.
Yeah. How'd that work?
It actually worked pretty good on Zoom.
Well, it wasn't horrible.
It wasn't. We had kids talking to Santa over Zoom. It was pretty cool.
You know, so Patrick was one of the originals.
Yeah.
Tina was an original.
You know, one of the other originals was Bill Parks, and I remember like Bill's first show. He didn't even show up. I don't think we had to call him. Like, are you coming? He goes, to do what? You're supposed to be on the radio today.
Yeah, half an hour ago.
Yeah. So he was a little bit challenging to get on a regular
I
basis.
remember calling you going, I'm talking to myself, help me.
So I diverted what I was doing that day, and I came in and helped out.
We picked up Michael Buster McMahon, who's still here. JPEG Luca shortly thereafter.
That's correct,
and then
Mr. Plass.
And Bob was obviously a big instrumental part of this. He was working in the president's office.
Yeah, so all these folks from the beginning are pretty much still here.
Yeah.
Now, I wasn't in the beginning. I came in the second or third week.
I think I was the second week.
I think maybe it was. And
that's when Jake Leon left.
Right.
Like the second or third week he left.
Yeah, it was pretty quick. I remember him saying that he had to go, and we were all panicking, like who would run the control board at the time, you know? And Pete volunteered, I think, or you got recruited probably.
I think somebody volunteered him.
Yeah.
From what I understand.
Probably wasn't.
Calls were made, you know. My time freed up.
Yeah, your time freed up. I remember that. You had some time issues, yeah.
But second show, you know, I just came on as a guest.
Well, you know why though, Ken?
And then, you know, Dan's like, come on in again.
I want to hear the reasoning. Why'd you bring him in?
I believe it, Kenny. You're gonna have to correct me with the historical accuracy here, but I believe I think Warren Holmes was running a historical Facebook page. Is that what it was? And you started.
He retired, and I took over, right? And he came back.
Yeah, and
thank God, because I'm running so many.
Yeah, and there was a lot of people enjoyed. If you are a fan of that page, you know, waxing nostalgic about past, you know, old Westfield, and so Kenny would provide us with some needed show prep, because that's what he did really well. But he gave us an update on what was going on in that world, and he also brought in some of his own shtick, if you will, and added a certain flair and color. And then as things picked up in over the months, he ended up becoming, you know, pretty regular fill-in. He was like my Joan Rivers to Johnny Carson, you know.
Yeah, sidekick, and then a replacement when you decided you didn't want to come in.
Yeah.
I was used for a while.
No, you enjoyed every minute of it, absolutely.
You loved every minute of it. Who are you lying to?
You know, towards the end of playing sidekick and fill-in, towards the end of doing that, when I actually was assigned my own time slot, I have to tell you, I was starting to run out of the crazy disease of the week.
Oh, crazy disease of the week. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, we used to have some pretty interesting sections on the show, you know.
You know, I don't bother with show prep anymore.
Yeah. Well, you know, you get to a certain level, it just right.
I do the monologue and.
Well, you know, I will say your rant is unbelievable. So that, you know, there's a lot of times you string together a certain amount of alliteration. That's just it's pretty impressive, I got to tell you. Yeah, not bad.
As I was saying earlier, inside this little can, it may be club soda, it may be vodka. You have no idea.
And you know, interestingly, Ken, I've been following you along. Not that I've been stalking you, but I've noticed that you've started your own interesting. What would you call that business? It's the conversion business of media from different various media sources into a more permanent source? Like
Yeah, I'm unemployable,
Yeah.
so I had to do something. So I started my own business in the pandemic, and I originally started off concentrating on repair work.
Yeah.
I wanted to repair, keep repairing televisions and turntables and going to people's homes and figuring out why the TV didn't work. But it wasn't going anywhere. It wasn't working. And another aspect that I did up the shop was, converting videos.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I see, this ad for a legacy box. They want $40 for you to toss a couple of tapes into a box and send it out to Ohio.
Yeah.
And I would never put my 65-year-old 8mm reels in a box and send it out in the post office, at least not the way they're operating now.
Yeah. Well, no, I think, as people get a little bit along in life, and like I'm just been cleaning up, I've had some time off cleaning up the house and came across a treasure trove of tapes and stuff. It gives you a good local option to convert some of that. I mean, because obviously, I don't even know if you can buy a tape player VCR anymore, but
you can go on eBay, and a decent one is going to cost you some coin now, believe it or not. Which that's good for me, because no one's going to want to spend $500-600 on a VCR that's been gone over. And at any time, I'll have 7 or 8 in my stack.
Yeah.
And while I have 7 or 8 in my stack, I have 1 or 2 on my repair bench because I'm able to keep them serviced.
Yeah, well, the other thing I thought about too is some of these older tapes. Who knows, like the condition they've been in? All it would take is one run through a substandard piece of equipment, and you ruin the video.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've taken in tapes that have mold on them, and I've figured out how to deal with it.
Demold it.
I partially demold it.
Yeah.
And then I have a specific deck that I play in that no matter what, I can't clog the video head in. I found a way of, and I had a client bring me a tape like that. I go, yeah, sure, I can do something. They go, well, good, because the last place I brought it to turned me away. They wouldn't do it.
Wouldn't do it, huh? Yeah. Well, no, I think that's great that you've been able to parlay these terrible times into a business opportunity.
I just hope it continues.
Well, a lot of people.
Not the bad time.
No, understood. But I think as much as people would say like the Great Depression affected an entire generation's buying habits back in the 30s, that I think our social habits here, even with the vaccine on the horizon, and even if it is as effective as they talk about that, I think people just in general, even at my own age bracket in my mid-50s, I would just cringe at the thought of going into a socially cramped environment again for a long time, just because you don't know. And I really don't know what would happen if I got the thing.
Did you notice that all of a sudden all of the vax companies came out with a solution at the same time?
Oh, right after the election? I didn't notice that. But, it's one of those things I think in society we've learned to kind of like live with it to some degree, although I did hear some good commentary last night. I forget what I was listening to, but it talked about the different philosophies in some of the states where, the freedom of choice. Why is it that you just can't tell people this information, right? And then let them make the decision if they want to go to these restaurants or these venues, and leave it up to the business owner to do that. And that's all well and good. And sometimes the libertarian in me will say, well, we should have a little bit more choice. But then part of me you get hit with this idea that sometimes you got to protect
that whole safety background
safety
that you
piece.
have.
And I think of all the people that I know here in town that have passed away from this, and the only reason why they're not on this planet today, more than likely, is due to COVID-19. And that's a shame that they got it from some unwitting way, no fault of their own, and they're not here now. So I don't. It's a tough social policy and public policy issue to balance. There's no question.
Did you hear about me and COVID?
Is that like the trip that you guys took in early?
No.
That's the trip that Kenny took.
It's all his fault, Dan.
Are you were you a former super spreader?
I may have been Westfield patient 0.
Really? No kidding.
It would have happened anyway, so nobody blame me.
Yeah?
It would have happened anyway. But I always go to the Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas.
Right, I remember, yeah.
And on my way home, I got sick. and I was.
You were sick.
And
He was
Yeah,
really
you were.
And I sat right next to him. I sat 2 feet from you.
And at this point in time, it wasn't even the China virus. China was lying about
Nope.
everything.
We knew nothing.
They weren't being forthright.
Was this February or
January?
January, yeah.
January what, Ken?
I
Remember?
ended up coming back on the 8th, I think.
It was fairly early.
So a few weeks later, the person that I stay with out there, and I only stay at their place for the electronics show because the $20 hotel rooms go to $250 a night. But they told me, I got tested for the COVID antibodies and I was positive. And I was the only person that they were around who got them sick. So through tracing, I got the COVID from the Consumer Electronics Show, and nobody was saying
what it was at the
butt kiss about the electronics
knew it was
show being a
something
spreader
viral.
until May or June.
Right.
And then again about a month or so ago.
I saw a show on that Kirkland, Washington nursing home. That was like the thought that was like the early entry point in the West Coast United States.
Mm-hmm.
And it is disturbing, the whole story of how that unfolded. But you think of like all these doctors when they're trying to, and you got to go kind of turn the clock back, and it's like, what do you know now about something versus back then? And all these people were presenting themselves with this respiratory event, and they just were clueless as it relates to how contagious it was and whatnot. And it's really a disturbing scenario that played out.
In
back
January
the spring.
last year, I got really sick after Kenny came back.
Yep.
And I had pneumonia. Because I remember finishing my treatment for pneumonia right as I was flying out to Florida, or actually finishing it down there, as I was flying out to Florida for vacation, and I tested negative for antibodies, but they said I might have waited too long for the antigen test, or it was a 50-50 shot whether it was right or not. But I talked to the health director and my doctor and gave them the scenario, and they're like, "Yeah, you probably had it."
Yeah, it's crazy.
Said a lot of people probably had it.
Yeah. So kind of sticking with COVID in a way, and you mentioned earlier you're not stalking me. Well, I'm not stalking you, but I've noticed that for some reason, whenever you're in charge of a municipality, there's something major going on.
Happen. Jeez.
We had the October blizzard here.
2011. We had everything but the kitchen sink.
We had the tornado here. Under control. It was
earthquake, floods.
Yeah,
we had the summer earthquake.
Yeah.
Yep.
Locust. The locust didn't come in.
Knappich leaves town, goes to another town, deals with hurricanes,
tornadoes.
Tornadoes.
Well, we had in my second year out there, we had 3 successive nor'easters in March, and they were brutal. I was on the radio actually. You guys called me. I think it might have been Tina's show. And it was like in the middle of the second one, and it was just horrendous. I mean, I lost power. I had to sleep in a fire station for a couple of days, and my basement was flooded out there for a week. And I remember it was like probably, so that was March. In May, we had the FEMA team in town to kind of go over some of the damage and whatnot. So I walk into the room, and they all look up, and they're like, "Yeah, we know you." They were all the same guys that were in town. Yeah, or took up residency at the Westwood, and we joked every time they demobilized at the Westwood and we were getting ready to leave town, something else would happen.
Oh, jeez.
And they were never able to leave, and they had residency here. I want to say from 2012 through to 2015. It was
pretty much.
It was unbelievable. And then this is the cake topper right here. This whole thing.
Yeah. So you made it through the tornadoes and hurricanes, and now tourist town. Yeah. Okay. You can't have anyone come here.
No.
Well, except for most of the population of New York City.
Well, interestingly, we knew early on in March and April, we were starting to get a lot of calls to have water turn-ons be done, and we started seeing more and more plates from New York particularly show up on the streets. But what was really the telltale sign is when we were able to read the water consumption rates. It was like record springtime water consumption in the water distribution system. Mm-hmm. So we knew something was going on, crazy about that. But what was interesting, in that time frame, to kind of give you a perspective, it took us in Yarmouth 100 and I think they told me 100, or I want to say in the first 82 days from March 16th when the shutdown started. In 82 days, 147 cases. I think in 3 weeks in November we had 147 cases. So what we were worried about back then was, what happens when you fling the doors open and everybody just crowds in. And interestingly enough, hundreds of thousands of people came to the Cape over the summer. And our COVID test positive rate stayed at about 145, 150 all the way through the summer. I think we did like almost 2 to 3 weeks with no new positives. And despite the beaches being jammed and the restaurants and the hotels and whatnot, not an issue. And then all of a sudden, like a light switch flipped on late in October, it started.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's been like skyrocketing ever since. The other day we had 20 in one day. We're up probably now over 300 cases. And luckily our death total was 3 through the spring, and it's only 3 now. So, but it is startling how as soon as people went indoors and the weather turned, it got crazy again with these numbers.
Yeah, they're telling us, and then now they're restricting more and more in this state, and it's like, yeah, that's the thing that you told us early on is going to be the prime mode of spreading is everybody being in the same house, because viruses spread very easily in a household.
Yeah. Well,
Kathy and I are in a good shape because we live alone.
Well, what's
and the windows are all closed, and there's no air moving in and
exactly,
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's different this time, though, is we learned the lessons, and it hasn't been able to make too many inroads in the congregate care or assisted living facilities like it did in the spring. So that's the really good news for that population. Although, there are some locally isolated spots that a couple of places have had it, but it appears that the outcomes haven't been as fatal. There haven't been as many fatals on it. But we've learned a lot as a society. But it's a horrific time to be going through this. It changes every. Human beings are social creatures by nature. And,
who would ever think that there would be a riot at an ice cream shop on Cape Cod?
Right. No.
There was a riot? Seriously?
Yeah, back in
the
springtime.
Which one is this? Sunday school or something?
No, it wasn't Sunday school. It was in Barnstable, and it's like a famous ice cream joint there. Maybe it was Mashpee, I forget now. But either way, they opened up just for the weekend, and the people just went crazy on the staff there, and just were incredibly abusive. So the guy shut it back down again.
Yeah, enough for it was a 17-year-old girl who was working there to save money for college. Yeah. Enough for her to break down, cry, and quit.
Yeah. I will say, I spent a fair amount of time on the beach. In general, like we go to the beaches where you can drive your Jeeps out onto it, so it's not as bad. But even a couple times where I went to regular beaches, people where I went generally were pretty respectful of the whole thing. But there were still some like the traditional, what I'd call more like urban beaches where, they were packed. I know in Yarmouth, our 2 biggest beaches, we were constantly doing parking lot closures quickly into the day and trying to manage it. But in general, the public was pretty respectful, and I thought we had a pretty successful season.
You mean that Jeep right there?
Yeah, that's the Jeep.
Did you deflate the tires before you went out?
You got to deflate the tires, all that good stuff. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. Once you experience the beach that way, you don't ever want to do it the old-fashioned way. So.
Do you ever are you able to do that near the dunes over in Truro?
Yeah, so up in the National Seashore, you can get a pass. We got a pass. We've gotten a pass every year since 2017, and there's a nice strip from pretty much the hook near the town on the outer shore, and you can go all the way down into I want to say down as far as Head of the Meadow Beach, and there's some RV like overnight accommodations there, But it's awesome to go out to the dunes, and that's a long ride out to the dunes out there. But even in Dennis, where we spend a lot more time on the bay side, there's a nice Jeep beach there. And when the tide goes out, you take the Jeeps out onto the flats, and you go out about 3/4 of a mile, and you hang out for 4 hours until the tide comes in. So it's a lot of fun. It's good. It's been a good 4-year experience for me, is what I can tell you.
9:30. I need a break. Do you have something lined up for us, Pete?
Sure.
All right, make it so.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Barnes & Noble College Bookstore in the Ely Campus Center, offering Westfield State t-shirts, sweatshirts, and gift merchandise, all of your academic needs, and offering textbook materials in new, used, ebook, and rental formats. Available at the bookstore on campus or online at westfieldstate.bncollege.com. Support for community radio on WSKB is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. On the web at bettsplumbing.com or at 14 Coleman Avenue in Westfield.
Hi, it's Bob Plass, and I have Wow, It's Tuesday every Tuesday, 6 to 8. Wow, it's Tuesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
I did it!
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Live around the world.
The Dan Knappich Show.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Oh, back when I used to have time to do production.
And because I have a feeling I'm going to go right to the top of the hour, let's knock the other one out.
You're listening to
The Dan Knappich Show.
Keep this frequency clear.
89.5 WSKB.
Hey, not bad.
You used to have your own bumps.
Yeah, PT used to hook me up pretty good with things like that. We used to play really good music too, and all that.
I used to take time to make bumps too.
Yeah.
I haven't done one in a while. I think Kathy's is the last one I might have done, right?
Class is in session. It's Westfield historian extraordinaire Kathy Palmer.
89.5 WSKB.
You know what's funny is reading Facebook, somebody will say something like, "Does anybody remember such and such on so and so street?" And all of a sudden, within like minutes, Kathy will get on there and she'll give enough information to. It's like how do you know all this stuff?
I don't know it. I have a lot of books.
Oh my goodness, it's like unbelievable.
Yeah, I have a lot of books at home on Westfield history, and so I go and look it up. That's all I can tell you.
Well, that's important to do, that people understand where we all came from. I think that's sometimes missed. Kenny, I know you go to Las Vegas a lot. And
got 3 trips already booked.
Do you really?
Yep.
And I know I got a rap for knocking down a lot of decrepit old buildings that had a lot of memories in them, including a former school. But what I always appreciated about Las Vegas is one of the things that one of my first trips out there, like 20-something years ago, was there. I saw, I was listening to somebody talk about their viewpoint on historic preservation, and what they were like is you can't stop the wheels of progress. So here's how we're going to do things. We're going to take a photograph of whatever it is you want to save. We're going to knock it down, and then we're going to put a nice granite marker there with a photograph on it and build for tomorrow. And they always thought about tomorrow here. And unfortunately, in a lot of communities, sometimes we get so tied up in nostalgia that we lose opportunity.
And that happens on the Strip all the time. MGM Grand.
All right.
All right. Yeah. That used to, Bally's used to be the MGM Grand out there.
Yeah.
Well, and then the MGM Grand got a bad rep because of that walkway that collapsed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what they do is they save pieces of it. They'll save some of the neons and stuff. Yeah. And I hear they have a whole museum of just neon farm.
It's the neon graveyard.
Right.
And it's really friggin'
Where's
cool.
That at? Where's that at?
It's not that far away from downtown.
Yeah, interesting. Well,
near Fremont.
One of the places I don't know where the collection today is, but years ago, before Columbia dismantled their headquarters building there, the main manufacturing building, they had a tremendous bicycle museum there. Kathy, did you ever see that?
Yeah, I don't know where that is, but unfortunately, Dan, the reality of a city of Westfield is very old because we date back 350 years, but what people don't understand, and I know you do because you knew the infrastructure stories, you can't save every building. Right. Some of them, for example, the old Mosley estate that used to be on the corner of Elm Street and Meadow, and there were several Mosley estates. That's not the only one. But it was in such disrepair. No one wants to buy them. No one wants to take them over. So
It's too costly to rehab them.
Yeah. Well, what are you going to do?
Well, you know, one of the houses that I've been eyeballing for a long time, not that I have any assets to be able to do anything with it, but it's a beautifully constructed home. It's across from the middle school. It's the Robotham
Yes,
family home.
yes, Robothams,
You know, and
yes.
they-
And I think she still lives there.
I'm not sure. I remember talking to one of the sons, and I remember saying there was a lot of rooms, but they had like one bathroom in the whole thing. But what's been frustrating was some years ago there was an effort to restore it, and it looked really nice for a while. But I can tell you from having a house my own, which is about 105 years old, and my brother's, which dates back to the 1700s, it takes a lot of money to bring your house up, but then to maintain it and then to heat it, like it's ridiculous. So when you look at all this, like these plethora of these old homes, and you're like, well, I wish somebody would do something. Well, it costs a fortune.
Yeah, nobody wants to. Nobody wants to heat them. Nobody wants to rewire them. To update the structural basements and the walls that need to be fixed and the roofs. No, they have to go.
My house was built in 1918. I pulled knob and tube wiring out and put Romex in.
Yeah,
I mean.
I
that was a project.
I still have knob and tube in part of my house. I had a lot of it removed when I did the addition.
Technically, that stuff is safer if it's still in good condition.
Well, as long as you don't overload it, that's you got to be mindful of that. Yeah.
So some structures have to go. There's nothing you can do about it.
Well, I think one of the best examples of that might have been the East Hampton Bank. Some people don't remember the battles on Broad Street. That took place.
Yes. Bob Plass was very involved in that.
That's correct. That building, and the other one was Bob Wilcox's building there too, and then the Bay State Dental building. So those owners of those buildings, and actually in the East Hampton Bank, that was two buildings. They did a nice job.
They did a wonderful
trying to appreciate the entire community conversation on historic preservation.
The Wilcox building, you wouldn't even realize is a fairly newly done building. It doesn't even look it. It looks just like the rest. The amazing job they did, Dan, is the rehab on City Hall.
Yeah.
City Hall is beautiful.
It is. I tell people
I think I know somebody who's behind that.
Well, a lot of people don't realize
got a lot of grief for it.
Well, but so years ago when I first got on the city council, if you're in the chambers, people would say this, like, it looks like there's a column missing, right? So there's three huge, like they're wood encased columns, but it looks like there's a spot where there should have been a fourth one, right? And so we'd all just kind of joke about it. Who knows? Nobody knew. Nobody knew the history there of that. And but sure enough, there was supposed to have been a fourth one. And then what had happened was shortly after my arrival in City Hall, Mark Crisati brought me upstairs to his office, and in his closet, the beams had rotted out, and you could see Court Street through the building, and that's actually where the whole building shifted. And so today, if you go in there now, I believe it was Kurtz Construction, did an emergency repair, and there's a steel I-beam that runs from the boiler room all the way up through the chambers, and they boxed it in. So now there's that extra pillar there and goes up. So I would go around and I'd mark spots in the attic, like where the cracks in the plaster was occurring and like where the door jambs were moving, just for my own edification as to, hey, what's going on with this building? And they were moving, and clearly things in a short amount of time were getting kind of out of hand. So I remember we brought in an engineering outfit, Gale Associates. They had some background in historic preservation, and they were doing all these borings, and they put in seismic tools in the building. And I think it's a sandstone building, so you got to kind of be really careful with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was asking him early on in the process. I go, "How much you think it's going to cost?" He goes, "Oh, this is going to be expensive." I go, well, I looked at him dead serious. I go, "Well, try to keep it under $1 million because I'm all out of money, right?" And the guy's like, he's like horrified. He doesn't even know what to say to me. I'm like, "I'm just kidding. I know it's going to be expensive. Do the right job, And what was interesting about it is the building, the way it was constructed, and I forget all the details on it, but the upstairs in the attic was like in a suspension, so it kind of like moved within the structure of the building, and all of that had to be recreated with a steel exoskeleton. So if you go up in the attic today, all the wood trusses are on sistered columns with steel, like a steel superstructure exoskeleton around them to keep the building stable. But between the roof, the mortar joints, and all of that interior work, I'm glad we say. I remember, we had a lot of debates about what to do with that building, And I just said, I'm not going to be the guy that demolishes a nationally registered historic building. This building can be beautiful. It's going to be expensive.
It's gorgeous.
One of our listeners just gave us something. Harry Rock sent this in. The Columbia Bike Museum was dismantled when they tore that warehouse down.
That's correct.
They would like to restore the museum at some point, so it must be stored somewhere.
Yeah.
The Westfield 350 lighted bike from the first night celebration will be part of it as well, which is where it is currently stored.
Yeah. So,
and I love how the stairs still squeak in that building.
I love the stairs.
Well, you know, it's interesting.
staircase.
In the 70s or something, they put in all that vinyl tile, or maybe even in the 60s. And I said to Tommy Curran, who's been there forever, I said, Tommy, we got to bring this back to the way it was, you know. And underneath all of that vinyl, hideous tile was beautiful hardwood.
It's gorgeous.
And all it needed was just some care to be brought back. The other museum I would bring your attention to, because it's probably still up, is the one at Savage Arms. That is spectacular, too. Have you ever seen that one?
No, I have not.
I believe you can go up there, call in advance. I mean, this was all pre-COVID, and go in and see that. But they, a long time ago, were a customer of mine, and I'd always marvel at how beautiful. And then they made a lot of different things there other than firearms, like a washing machine, I think, was in there, and a lawnmower and stuff. Yeah. But it was incredibly impressive. These institutions that have these like mini museums in them. And Smith & Wesson has a spectacular museum too.
Last museum I was at was the Mob Museum.
Where is it? Oh, in Las Vegas?
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
So there's a way to preserve things, but to Kathy's point, you know, we don't have an unlimited wallet.
We can't.
And I try to preserve a little bit of things around here. One thing I have kept around is Ken's 10. Remember when I first started up that? Well, we
you're up, Dan.
Version 2 and version 3.
But I never found out what it means though when you complete
4
it.
and version 5.
What does that say about your personality? You know?
Oh, we're not telling. He's keeping that a secret.
So
hit it, right?
We're not at version 5.0 anymore, and we have not moved on to 6.0. We do, however, have version COVID edition 5.5. Ken's 10 is a list of rapid-fire questions I send off in your direction. There are no right or wrong answers. It's just strictly your humble opinion. Ken's 10 COVID edition 5.5 with Dan Knappich. Number 1, delivery or curbside?
I'm delivery still.
Still.
And
I'm looking at it right now. I think I know the answer to this one. Number 2, weight gain or loss?
Well, I'd like to think that I'm at least holding steady, but apparently I'm not, so I'm gaining.
Terrified or cautious?
A little terrifyingly cautious, I think I could say. No?
Number 4, yes or no?
No.
Coughed and looked around to see if anybody was reacting.
Sometimes.
That's a yes.
It's a yes or it must be a yes.
Yes or no? Are you spending more on your gas and electric bill?
You know, actually, yes. And I got a notice from Westfield Water Department that I'm using more water, and they think I have a behind the valve leak. So
better look out for that, because some people with leaks supposedly have filled an Olympic-sized swimming pool.
I think they told me it's like some number of 10 gallons an hour or something.
That's a lot. That means you have a toilet bowl that keeps flushing. Usually.
Yeah, and it could be leaking right from the tank and not into the bowl.
Yeah. That happened to me.
That's 10 gallons. Yeah, that's a big flow.
Yeah?
Number 6, fashion mask or generic mask?
Straight up generic. Use it a couple times, throw it out.
Yeah.
I got my Darth Vader with the changeable filters.
Yes or no? Gone down the aisle of a market in the wrong direction.
Only half an aisle. I did it at Big Y the other day, and it broke. It pained me to do it, but I was like in a rush. So
that's a yes.
Yes. Apparently so. All right.
You lawbreaker, you.
You're a maverick.
Ugh.
A rebel.
Rebel with a cause.
Number 8. Binge watch or normal TV viewing?
Well, I've been doing a little bit more binge watching than normal. No question about it. Yeah.
Number 9. Number 9.
Number 9. Number 9. Number 9. Bueller.
Zoom. Love it or hate it?
In general, I hate it, but it does serve a purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And number 10, Ken's 10 COVID edition 5.5 with Dan Knabick. Yes or no? Did you have toilet paper issues?
Only early on, because out on the Cape, everything is septic sensitive toilet paper, so you got to have one ply, and you couldn't find a one ply to save your life.
All right, so that's a yes.
Yeah.
Thanks for playing Ken's 10.
You're welcome. But I'm all stocked up now, if you must know.
Yeah.
So we're all good.
Yeah.
Yes, we did need to know that. Thank you for sharing.
Well, if you've been following me, Ken, and I believe you did say you were cyber stalking me, that you've been noticing my wife has had me on a lot of home chores.
We saw your chores. You have a new project in your house.
Yeah, so there's a couple of them. She convinced me to cough up the addition in the basement for her gym.
We saw that.
I'm almost completed that. I just got to drop the treadmill into there, but I hung she's got a TRX device in there. She's got a whole. It is a decked out gym. She's done a great job. All I had to do was finish the work from when it was poured years ago, which was a little undertaking. But I said I claimed the garage. So I went, I got a ping pong table, I got a dartboard yesterday, put a heater in the garage. Man, we got it going on. Big screen TVs going up. We got the outdoor patio furniture in the garage. And like last night, we watched the Pats and played some ping pong,
The only new thing that I have is this.
Oh, I think I saw that. Did you post a picture of that?
I'm talking about Ken Starsky's weekly program. Captain Palmer too. The Denmark before you. Discussions of logo and happenings too. You got the Ken Starsky weekly program with Captain Palmer too.
Who did that?
I have a theme.
Yeah. Nice.
We have a theme song.
You know what? One thing
BJ Corona did that.
Yeah, is I didn't get a chance to go to Great Awakening Brewery before like when it opened up recently. But just the fact of there's we had just gotten into going into the brand new what's the one on College Highway?
Skyline.
Skyline.
Oh, yeah.
And they
Yeah,
did such
yeah.
a nice job with that, and then
Yeah.
COVID hit, and we were, we'd go to Tin Bridge and some other ones across the region, and that was just it was a good stop, kill a couple hours on a Saturday or Sunday, and it's like that social aspect of just enjoying a good beer and some company that has really been suffering, And I think, to some degree, the electronics, like Zoom platforms, we do family Zoom meetings, that fills a bit of a gap. But, when you've got folks that in your family that are in their, high 70s or 80s, and you think that this could be their last go-round in a year or something, and you can't even get together with them because you put them at risk, that's a problem. I hear all these stories about grandmas and grandpas not being able to see their grandkids and all that. It's just terrible.
I really don't have family. I have my father, but I don't have a big family. So I've been able to adjust to all this a lot better than so many other people because I'm used to being a loner. I'm used to just doing things, alone. So I do miss walking up and down the aisle of a store looking for something new. I haven't been in the Wally since March. I have them deliver, and I've gotten so used to them delivering.
Yeah.
Even once this is all gone.
Yeah. Why would you go back in the store, right?
Yeah.
So used to getting things on demand now,
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. So I'm outside of losing my job of 24 years.
Yeah.
I'm doing fine.
The other one is the kids, and I know Kathy can talk to this, but I have two teenage boys, and the social isolation they've been under is they did both play baseball, and I want to thank both Little League and Babe Ruth for launching that. That was like the funnest in a lot of different ways, most challenging season, but very fun too for the kids. But it represented the first time they were able to like walk on a field and see their friends because school had been shut down and they were completely isolated. And even now, they're completely virtual. They're still in a sense of isolation. And like this, we would have been full blown into basketball and skiing right now. And
I think it's very harmful for the preschool ages. That's where they learn their social skills. By the time you're 6 and 7 years old, you've got the majority of your social skills in place, and these kids just aren't going to have it.
Hey, Pete, what's my buffer with all the special programming we've been having lately?
What do you mean?
My time.
10:05.
Okay. All right. See that I care.
You do care.
You guys, we put together so much programming.
Yeah.
I don't want to just cut you off at the end.
No, I appreciate that.
You're going to have a grand exit coming up here pretty soon.
Well, I got to ask you this question because he was famous for doing this. Does Bob Plass still like overrun ridiculously?
Yes. We try to keep him close.
I love the guy, but
Pete's
man.
got a method. He just shuts it off.
We try.
Yeah, I usually get him out by about 8:01 now.
We love
do you really? Wow.
We love Bob.
Yeah. You know why? Because he knows he gets an extra half hour on my program.
Well, I got to tell you, once the Big Brother talk starts, man, I'd rather talk about wrestling stars of the '70s than Big Brother. I mean, come on, I just could never get into that show. Sorry, Ken. That's my only knock.
I did watch wrestling back then. In the '80s.
Yeah.
WWF.
Yeah.
Back then, but then I turned 16 and I stopped watching it.
Oh, come on now. You're never too old to watch the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Come on.
Well, I was actually shocked though because back then the Undertaker was around.
Well, funny you mentioned that.
And then I see him on this YouTube thing.
30 years later.
Out of character.
That's
and I'm
'cause he
like,
retired.
oh my gosh.
So I don't
finally
know
retired.
if this is true or not, but I thought Kamala, the Ugandan giant, had died. But anyways,
Kamala, she's going to be the vice president.
No. That's
No.
Kamala. But he was
I just saw him on.
He was a big wrestler of the 80s and 90s, and he had said something
That was
came across
debunked.
yesterday. Was it debunked? Because there's no way that could have been true. I knew he.
There's no
complained-
way that Vince would pay
anybody a
half a million for anything.
And I agree with you on that. But I will say that I had heard
least
this
back then.
before, that the standard for minority wrestlers was a lot different than it was for white wrestlers. And I had heard that, and he had sadly ran into a lot of medical problems in his elderly life. But I believe a couple of wrestlers came to his aid, paid off some medical bills, and he was able to at least go out with some dignity. But there's a lot of challenges, I think, in a lot of different industries over the years that have to.
He found his way into talking about wrestling.
Had to do it.
I saw what he did there.
Yeah, do you? You want to see how quickly I turn that around? So you post a lot of pictures of classic cars.
I love
Yes,
cars.
you do.
One day I'll have one.
The one you saw that you put up this morning, no, I'd never seen it either.
No, that it was a Dodge. I never saw that.
No.
Yeah, you don't see too many Dodges back.
And I knew my cars then because my dad sold Chevrolets and Oldsmobiles, so all those other cars were not mentioned in my home.
Right. Well, I saw you like that high lift car that I posted up there. I wouldn't have taken you for that high lift one, but
Yeah,
but
well,
that Dodge was a sharp looking car. I'd never seen that one
nope.
before.
I had no idea what that was.
Yep.
Did you see it, Ken?
You have nice cars too, though. You have that nice Caddy out there.
You saw it, huh?
I did. I like that car. Yeah.
1994.
Yeah.
Florida car. I bought it with
I remember when you bought it.
52,000 miles on it.
Yep.
Dan, when I was in high school back in the 60s, okay, do the math. It's okay. I'm old. I'm all right with it. I drove a 61 red Chevrolet Impala convertible.
Nice. Oh, my goodness. What color was the top on it? Was it white or black?
I think mine was, because my girlfriend had a very similar car. My top was black.
Ah, wow. Nice car. But you'd like to have that car.
Don't I wish I had that car back. 61 convertible.
Yep.
And they were as big. A couple of years ago when my kids were little, I had the conversion van that everyone had at one point. That conversion van was as long as my 61 Impala. Remember how long they were?
I've got an Impala.
You do, but it's a miniaturized one.
You know what?
A diet Impala.
You can't.
As a six-cylinder.
You can't compare those cars to the cars of the 60s and 70s.
No.
But my
They
all-time
were
favorite
just
is like either
awesome.
that like early '70s Chevelle or the late '60s GTO.
Yeah,
Those two cars.
I like the GTO. I didn't like the Chevelle.
Yeah.
GTO I liked.
I like the 78, 79 442s.
Oh, those are
the
nice
Cutlass
cars, yeah.
Supremes,
Cutlass.
Monte Carlos,
Grand National.
Sports.
I
Buick
didn't like
Grand
the
Nat.
front end, though. I didn't like
Yeah,
the front
Buick
end.
Grand
on the
Nat.
car.
87 was the big year for the Grand National. Only released in the color black
right.
with a turbocharged six-cylinder.
Yeah.
Connecticut State Police were using them as
remember
undercover
that.
cruisers.
You know one car you don't hear much about, and I thought it was maybe a little bit underpowered for its day, but it was the Ford Thunderbird Turbo Coupe 4-cylinder back in the '80s. That was a nice looking car. Yeah.
I'm at 10:02 and a quarter. Dan Knappich, I want to thank you for coming in and
Ken, thanks for the invite.
checking out the
Yeah.
new digs here.
Appreciate it. It's awesome. And I enjoy listening to you guys when I can out on the Cape, and I look forward to when my contract expires later in next month of listening some more often because I'll be back in the area. So, but it's been nice to catch up, and I've absolutely enjoyed seeing what you've done with this great place. So
Awesome. Thanks again. Next week, the current mayor of Westfield, Don Humison, will be in here. That's all I got for you. I'll catch you next time.